Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue. Now in this video, I'm going to take a regular 4.5-inch angle grinder and I'm going to turn it into a miniature chop saw. Okay, so why would I want to take an angle grinder and turn it into a chop saw? Good question. Well, I'm in the process of developing a product, a novelty product, something that you might give to somebody who works in the shop all the time, a person who collects tools. This is just more fun. But I thought it would be kind of a cool idea, so I'm going to try to make it. So I'm using a 1x2 piece of aluminum. Now, I can chop these vertical lines, no problem, on the chop saw. I just set the depth and it makes that cut. That's easy. My problem is when I need to make this parallel cut. It's about 4.5 inches long, and I've tried it with the jigsaw, very time consuming because you first have to drill a hole so you can access the jigsaw blade. And if I did this on a chop saw, I don't know if you've ever tried to chop something in line with the blade, and something this small, it gets very unstable and it's very unsafe. So the idea is to get a 4.5-inch aluminum blade that fits my angle grinder, take the angle grinder and turn it into a chop saw, put this into the base of that new tool and lock it down. So it's not going to go anywhere and it's just a simple pull down lever and it makes that cut. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to make the tool that will make this cut. And stick around to the end of the video and I'll give you a sneak peek what this is going to be. So now I have several angle grinders in my shop, and I'm going to use this little guy here. It's a no-name brand. It's like a Drill Master. Not even sure where I got it, but it works. I just don't use it often enough. So this is going to be my new chop saw angle grinder. I also picked up the blade on Amazon, which I'll leave a link to that in the description if you're interested. It's a 4.5-inch graph aluminum cutting metal blade. So first thing now is I want to see if I can make a base that this will fit on. I'm going to cut a piece of 3/16 plate to the size that I want using my plasma cutter. Next, I'm going to use my metal chop saw and I'm going to cut myself a few feet for this little plate that I just did. Now, I'm actually going to make a quick tool for making a new tool, and this is really just to kind of help offset the feet on the plate so that they're all even. Just taking a few pieces of masonite, cutting them into right angles. One side's a little bit bigger than the other, and then gluing those together. And as you can see here, it allows me to put those on the corner of the plate, and then the feet actually set up perfectly each time. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my MIG welder, and I'll weld the feet to the plate. So I got a little jump start on this project before I started running the video. But just to kind of quickly catch you up, I have taken a clamp. We often use these to kind of hold material in place. I chose one that has a really strong spring to it. And then what I did is I actually welded a piece of 1x1 angle. Now, I'm going to be able to take this grinder and using the holes that are in this clip, I'm going to be able to mount the grinder to this clip, and that's going to give me the spring action that I need. So let's go ahead and put that part together right now. So the angle is going to mount to this plate, allowing this to be pushed down. So this is the hole that I want to use, and what I'll do is that's going to go into the plate, and then this will go into the grinder. Now, again, because I tried to do this earlier, some of these pieces I've already got in place. Now, I made a piece of wood that acts as a spacer between the grinder and the clip. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tighten this so that it's exactly where I need it, and then I'm just using the threaded hole that's on the grinder itself, typically used for the handle. Now I just want to line this up visually, make sure everything looks nice and straight. And then I'm going to use a hose clamp and that hose clamp will get tightened up and basically keep the back end from moving. Since we're already bolted down on the front end, I'll get a screwdriver and tighten that up here in a second. But as you can see, once this is mounted to the clip and then the clip is welded to the angle can then be bolted to the plate, and then we'll use the handle that came with this, and as I'm ready to cut, all I do is drop this into position. So let's get the grinder and its attachment bracket attached to the plate. So in order to make the cut where I need it in the aluminum, I need to raise that piece up. So I've added a 1x2 piece of steel, and that's tack welded to the base. Then to keep the aluminum from going side to side, I put 2 pieces of 2" by 3/16 flat bar, and I've tack welded that into place. And then to keep the piece from going up, I have an 1¼ flat bar here that's also tack welded, and I'm going to tack weld this piece in when I know where the position is. Right now I want to do a test cut just to make sure that everything is working fine, and then I'll finish welding all of this, and then I'll add a clamp just for extra security, and we'll give this a good test. Okay, so for the first cuts, that's not bad. It actually worked out better than I thought. I have to make 4 cuts. So once I have the aluminum in position, I drop the first cut, and that cuts probably about, I don't know, 7/8 of the piece. Then I have to shift it so that it cuts the last piece, flip it, 1, 2, so now that's a total of 4 cuts. Not bad. It's more stable than I thought it would be. And now that I'm going to like weld everything solid, I'm going to put a clamp on there. I think it's going to even tighten things up a little bit more. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at what this product is. Now, I'm sure we all know what this is. It's a level. Some folks refer to it as a spirit level. All right. There's a little bubble inside a tube, and it allows you to level, well, whatever you're working on to make sure that it's nice and straight. That's kind of what this product is going to be. It's going to be a level. But with the help of my 3D printer and this cool little insert that goes inside of here and these end caps, well, stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you what I put in here. Okay, so I'm going to add in a toggle switch that will help me turn the grinder on and off. The little switch on the grinder, it's a little hard to get to. It's not easy to turn on and off. It's very awkward actually when it's mounted. And so if I had a problem, I can quickly turn the switch on and off right here. Now, I went ahead and split the hot line. And so one is connected here, one is connected there. I'm actually secured here. I want to make sure that these are nice and tight. And then I'm going to take a heat gun with this heat shrink. Excuse the noise for a moment. Okay, now that is attached. I think what I might do is put another clip here so it comes out the back side without any problems. And this is high enough that it will be tucked away so that all I need to do is flip it on and flip it off. So let's go ahead and test that and make sure that it works. I currently have it in the off position. Let's make sure that's right. Okay, that is right. Turn it on. Turn it off. Okay, perfect. Now we have a switch that's easy on, easy off. I'm going to dress this cable, put a zip tie here, maybe to keep those cables together, and we're good to do another test run. Something else I should mention, these toggle switches are typically in enclosed boxes, which means these terminals are actually enclosed and you can't touch them. Well, in this situation, I can reach around and I can connect these two terminals with my finger. That would give me a nice little zap. So what I've done is I put a dab of silicone on each one. Now, if you have a hot glue gun, that's probably better because it's easier to take off if you ever need to. But I use silicone in this case since I can't find my hot glue gun. This will actually protect or insulate these two terminals from accidentally touching them. As you can see, it's still kind of wet there. But definitely make sure that you protect those terminals so that you can't reach around and, zap yourself. All right, let's give this a shot. Everything is welded. I have my clamp in place. I have my sample piece. I have the switch. And so I'm going to see how easy this is, and hopefully it will all work out. I really like creating my own tools in the shop. When you have a problem and you have the ability to figure it out, that is probably one of the best skills you can have. Something that you can try and, just invent. I like the inventing aspect of it all. And here on my property, I have plenty of work to do. It is rural Arizona property. The shop that I'm working in right now is a 2-car garage, but I'm in the process of actually building a much larger shop on the same property. My time is limited here because I'm only here in Arizona for 2 to 3 months, and then I head over to Spain for 2 to 3 months. So I make some progress here on the property, but when I'm here in Arizona, most of the time I'm playing catch up with work and I'm doing paid gigs. So right now I'm getting a lot of water feature quotes, I'm getting some sculpture quotes, and hopefully within the next couple of months somebody will pull the trigger and I'll be back into doing some work. But when I have this downtime, because right now work is a little slow, it gives me an opportunity to do a lot of work around the property. I've got to run a trench for some electric. I'm putting a gate in at the front of the property and redoing the rolling ball table that I built a couple of years ago. I'll put a link to that here in the video if you're interested to see that. But I think this little tool is going to work out great. I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out. All right, so that's going to do exactly what I needed to do. It's going to make that parallel cut, and it's going to be consistent every single time. Now, as I showed you, this is what it's going to turn into once I get it painted, add the stickers, add the end caps. But here's the secret, and I have to be very careful about this so I don't upset the algorithm. The 3D printed part for the center is actually designed for a little miniature you-know-what that's going to sit in the middle. Now that will actually be your level. So the concept of the product is it's called the spirited level. So when it's actually purchased, it won't come with the little miniature bottle, but you can add your own. And so when you get it, it's a gift for somebody, in their shop. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch this video. Keep an eye on my next videos when this product drops, because it's going to be extremely limited. I'm only making, maybe 50 or 60 of these, and once they're gone, they may be gone. Maybe I make more, I don't know. But it's something to play around with. I wanted to try to get it before Christmas. Let's see what happens. Who knows? Got to try everything, right?
If you haven't already subscribed, please do so now. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. And I always say we, like it's a royal we. No, it's me. It's me having fun in my shop, doing fun things, trying to come up with different ideas to do. I have plenty of things around my property and here in the shop to get done, and I want to bring you along in the journey. So, see you in the next video.